Today's episode is brought to you by the Packwood Locker of Packwood, Iowa, Smithburg Auto of Fairfield, Iowa, and Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa, as well as the Cedar Rapids Titans Arena football team, which you can see tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Round Guy Radio YouTube channel. Welcome to, we've got Coach Wilson of the Fort Madison Bloodhounds, who was involved in quite a record-smashing game last night against Keokuk. Welcome to the program, Coach.
Yeah, happy Saturday and full of wrestling.
Well, I guess this is a Valentine's Day episode, and just I don't know where to start. There were so many records smashed in this game. Tell our listeners, you played the Keokuk Chiefs, and Jackson Clark set some records. Nolan Guzman set some records. Tell us a little bit about the game, maybe how exciting it was, and was it in Keokuk or was it in Fort Madison?
We were in Fort Madison last night. It was senior night, and we got the honor of Nolan Guzman and Akeel Wilkerson, our seniors, last night in front of a packed gym for senior night. And, not only did we have senior night, but we also had two really good basketball games between the boys and girls. With Keokuk, our girls they were down early, and they ended up coming back and winning, I think by 4 or 5 points maybe. And then, we turned around and followed that up with a really good game ourselves on the boys' side. So, we got out to, I think, a 7-2 lead early, and, Keokuk battled back and, went back and forth. A lot of excitement. I think Guzman had 17 or 18 points at halftime, and Clark was right there with him. Came out third quarter, again, kind of going back and forth. Next thing you know, you look up on the scoreboard, and Guzman has 39 points, and he hits a three-quarter court shot at the buzzer to end the third quarter and give us a 2-point lead heading into the fourth. And then, back and forth early on and whatnot. Nolan scored a lot at the basket and just did a lot of different things last night. And, unfortunately, we just ended up falling about 10 points shy last night. But, it was one to watch. I mean, between Guzman and Clark, I think they combined for 80-some points, with Guzman scoring 51, and I think Jackson Clark had 36. But, yeah, so Nolan Guzman, at one point, I think he hit a three and tied the record at 44 points before going on. And, he ends up hitting a buzzer at the end of the shot at the end of the game at the buzzer there to get him 51 on the night and puts himself in the record books. So pretty special performance on senior night. I know he'd love to have had a team win and sacrifice some of the points if it would mean a team win. But, yeah, pretty cool night.
Well, Jackson Clark set some records too, didn't he?
Yeah, and I can't really speak to that too much. I know through social media I saw he is now the all-time leading scorer in Keokuk boys basketball history. I don't know what that looks like from a number standpoint, how many points or who he passed or anything like that. And then also something along the lines of him going over 1,000 rebounds. But again, I can't really speak to that because I'm not sure of the exacts on that.
So. Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of guys get 1,000 points with 1,000 rebounds. I've never heard of that. Well, what a great play. Well, let's talk a little bit about your guy, Nolan Guzman. I'm assuming this is a career high for him, but it's not like he doesn't. I mean, he don't get 50 points every game, but boy, he is a scoring machine. Tell us a little bit about this young man and his development through this time for the Bloodhounds, and what kind of a basketball player do you think he is?
Yeah, Nolan's a special kid. He's played varsity for 3 years. All 3 years, he's averaged double figures scoring. This year, he's right around 19 points. I don't know what last night will do for his average. And unfortunately, he missed our Williamsburg game, our second game of the year, due to having the flu and being sick. Otherwise, I think, he'd be going over 1,000 points on the season and some different things. Or not on the season. He'd be going over 1,000 points for his career. But, we'll see how that all shakes out here over the last couple of games of the season. But, just a great kid with a big motor, and he goes hard. You think of Bennett Sturts at Iowa, and that's Nolan Guzman at Fort Madison. Plays every minute of every game unless there's foul trouble or different things, and just goes and knows how to score and knows how to read the defense. It just does a phenomenal job for us. Whether it's this year or even last year, just kind of taking the bull by the horns and not being afraid to lead us and carry us in situations. And, last night we didn't have a Darius Foy at 6'9" in the lineup, but, it was senior night and Nolan was going to make sure that we had a chance to win last night. And, he scored at the basket, around or through Jackson Clark. He hit some pull-ups, he got to the free throw line, and he knocked down a few threes. So, just a special kid, incredible player, and we're just very happy that he's a bloodhound, and we're very excited for him and to have that accomplishment last night and get his name in the record books.
Well, was there a point in the game where you said to yourself, wow, he's really, in position to really have a special game?
Yeah, like I said, at one point in the second half, I looked up and I saw he had 39 and kind of hit me. And I told our coaches to make sure to alert administration that, if he gets to that 44-point mark, which he did. I think he hit a 2 or a 3 or something to get to 44, which tied him with a guy by the name of Kurt Litzbarger, who did it. I scored 44 back in 1980 or back in 1978. And then in 1988, Holy Trinity coach John Helge also scored 44 points. So, he was tied with those guys for a brief minute before passing them. And then, he hit that 3 at the buzzer to give him 51. But yeah, like I said, I didn't realize anything was really crazy happening until I looked up and saw 39. And then, that was going into the fourth quarter, I believe. He hit that three-quarter shot at the buzzer and gave him 39. And then, he just played really hard and played pretty darn well in the fourth quarter. And it was pretty cool.
Well, you had some illnesses and some players wasn't available to you early in the year, but in the second half, things really kind of turned around for you. Why are you guys playing? And it's important to me that you play good down the stretch. I really don't care what your record is and how many games you won in November and December and whatever. What I care about is how you're playing really good and really focused down the stretch. And you guys seem to be. What's been the I think you beat Centerville too. They got Malachi Rice. He's another 50-point a night kind of guy, and I think he leads the state in scoring.
Yeah, we're just playing well right now, and our guys are playing hard. And again, we've been a young team, and our guys are finally realizing what it takes to compete and to be successful in the basketball court. And Monday night, we beat Centerville. Malachi Rice was averaging 30 points. We held him. We held him to 21, right below his average. So that was success. But our guys are just, they're figuring it out, and we want to be playing our best basketball right now. We'll go to Atomo next Thursday. We'll have districts the Monday after that. And, you couldn't, if you didn't know our record last night going into it, you wouldn't know that we were only 4-15 going into last night's game. We played hard. We competed with a really good Keokuk team, had ourselves some opportunities to come out on top, and just unfortunately couldn't get through that, and it didn't happen. But that's what we want. You want to play your best basketball mid-February going into postseason. And, I think I can say we're playing our best basketball right now.
I'm agreeing with you. Well, it was senior night. You mentioned another senior you had. Maybe we could talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Keel Wilkerson, he doesn't get to play a lot. Came out last year as a junior, to wrestling as a sophomore and whatnot. So again, Keel's one of those kids. He's just a great kid. Everybody on the team, everybody in our program loves the kid. Brings a sense of energy and just excitement, and he's always smiling and having fun. He wasn't able to play last night due to some ineligibility with some grades here recently, but Keel's a great kid. He played football, and he's a guy that you want in your program because a lot of people gravitate to him and feed off his energy and his excitement and his smile and things. So, as proud as we are for Nolan and doing what he does, we appreciated Keel being a part of our team and donning that Bloodhound jersey and just being a part of our guys.
Well, I appreciate you taking a little time out. Normally you and I are talking about some other games and some upcoming games, and we'll probably be talking to you again when you get the playoff picture going. But we just kind of want to dedicate this night to Nolan. Always been one of my favorite players. I mean, ever since the first time I saw him, I think the first game I ever saw him play was probably up there in Highland or Hillcrest or something in the Jamboree or something, and seemed like he hit a game-winning shot. Or he's always really good at at the end of a quarter, at the end of a half, at the end of the game. He's the kind of guy that when you need a basket, he's the kind of guy you want to get the ball to. And I've admired him for a long time. And it's going to be sad not to see him in the lineup, but there's always some new kids that are coming along. Does Nolan get? And it seemed like, did he get a scholarship or a college offer or something? It seemed like I saw him St. Ambrose. Is that where he's going?
Yeah, he's going to go run track up at St. Ambrose. And he got accepted into their physical therapy program. I believe all that stuff came through Wednesday or Thursday this week. So, he's had a great week when he made that college visit, and he got accepted the other day. He was super excited and very happy. He stepped out of practice to go call his mom and let her know. And so, we're very proud of Nolan and very happy for him to have these accomplishments on the court. And I think the thing people realize is that, it's not just Nolan on the court. He's a great kid off the court. He's a great teammate, very lovable, and again, just guys that you want in your program to lead the way and set some examples.
Well, I think he might have been inspired by being on the all-round guy team, maybe a little bit there, and wanted to show his stuff, and he sure did. Coach, I don't got any more questions for you. Was there anything you want to talk about we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, I think, again, just appreciate the coverage and the opportunity to talk about Bloodhound basketball, and we're very fortunate to have all the coverage we get, and just, appreciate that.
All right, thanks for being with us, and tell Nolan from me and everybody here at Round Guy Radio, because I was getting texts at 7 o'clock in the morning about it from guys, so from our guys. So thanks for doing it, and congratulations on an outstanding finish to the season.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.